mentioned to me digital and how it's helping break down maybe some of the barriers that have existed traditionally in radio between sales and programming. Can you expand on that?
Sure. I've been doing this on and off since the mid 80s. And boy, when I started, I remember the meetings with sellers on one side of the table and programmers on the other, and everybody's arms are crossed because, the seller's job is to inject these horrible ads into the wonderful programming experience, the very horrible ads that pay for that programming experience. And the programmer's job is to defend that listener experience, defend that programming experience, the one that generates the ratings that enable the horrible ads that interrupt the wonderful programming experience. So the two of them really had opposite incentives. What's different now is that the beauty of the digital space is because it's really a content space more than an advertising space. The advertising lives because of the content. When you create a piece of content, the value of that content is zero unless that content appeals to an audience. But the value of that content is also zero unless that content appeals to clients, to advertisers. So now for the first time, you've got a situation where the seller's job is to provide content around which advertisers want to either place their messages or contribute content. And the programmer's job, the product job, is to create content that attracts audiences that is of interest to sellers and clients. So all of a sudden everybody's got the same objective because now the programmer evaluates the success of content on the basis of popularity. The seller evaluates it on the basis not just of sales, but of how many conversions it created, how many uniques it attracted, and so on. So suddenly we're in the same business where a piece of content's only good if it attracts both popular people and advertisers at the same time. So that's what's new about this opportunity. And that, by the way, is why I think a lot of the great content ideas now, there's a greater tendency for them to come actually from the sales side than from the product side. Because the sellers are desperate for ideas, because their clients are asking for ideas and they're asking for digital ideas. So a lot of those ideas are just naturally coming more from sellers than from the programming people.
We've had a lot of those same conversations. I know I've had conversations with our program directors and our air talent. I've also heard, as had folks in our office from the sales side, exactly what you're talking about, that in the old days of radio, we stayed away from program directors in terms of, well, they know what they're doing. They know music better than we'll music because we sell. We don't want to get in their space about which songs to place or what promotions necessarily to stuff down their throat. But with the advent of social media and how that is exploding, this is what you're talking about, that programming should have their ears open to sales. They may come with ideas. They may be experts in certain areas of digital that the jocks or the PDs may not be.
Well, the bottom line is basically this. We're moving from a place where advertising was the introduction of interruption to value to the place where clients want value to be provided to consumers. Broadcasters are the intermediary for that value. So it's a value in all directions kind of equation. If you're going to provide value to your clients, then that's got to be more than simply running ads. If you're going to provide value to your consumers and value to your listeners, then that can be more than simply playing music.